of September 2nd, 2021 Board of Commissioners regular session.
It's hard to say, wasn't it?
It was. It got stuck. Agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
A motion to support. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the August 19th, 2021 Board of Commissioners regular session as presented? I have a motion to support. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is citizens' time. During citizens' time, the board chair shall recognize any person wishing to address the board. The person recognized by the chair shall approach the podium and state his or her name and community of residence. A person may address the board only once on the same matter during each period set aside for citizens' time on the agenda and only on matters that are relevant to county government. The chair shall control the length of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes and shall not allow negative personal comments. Is there anybody who would like to address the commissioners? No? Anyone? All right. It's quite the overflow crowd tonight.
I know, right?
All right, we'll move along. Elected and appointed county officials. Linda, do you have anything? All right. Special order of business. And I will have Commissioner King read that into the record.
This is the National Rail Safety Week Proclamation. Whereas 1,889 rail grade crossing collisions resulted in 678 personal injuries and were responsible for 201 fatalities in the United States during 2020. And whereas 1,088 trespassing incidents have occurred in the United States, resulting in 532 pedestrians being killed and another 556 injured while trespassing on railroad property rights of way during 2020. And whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railroad right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways, and obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of fatalities and injuries. And whereas the International Association of Chiefs of Police, National Operation Lifesaver, United States Department of Transportation, and all local, state, county, and railroad law enforcement officers, first responders, and railroad corporations commit to partnering together in an effort to educate at a national level all aspects of railroad safety, to enforce applicable laws in support of National Rail Safety Week. Therefore, be it resolved that the Calhoun County Board of Commissioners does hereby attest their full support proclaiming September 20th to September 26th, 2021 National Rail Safety Week and encourage all citizens to recognize the importance of rail safety education. Signed by our Board Chairman, Steve Frisbee.
Thank you, sir. I have a motion to approve the National Rail Safety Week proclamation as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion and support. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented for this meeting, the September 2nd, 2021 Board of Commissioners regular session.
Support.
A motion and support. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. 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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Special committee workshop and board reports. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much. I actually have 3 this evening to report on. First and foremost, the Senior Millage Allocation Committee met on August 20th for our strategic planning session at Miller Manor in Battle Creek. We covered the progress made since our last strategic planning session, our current funding status, fund balance, and senior strategic project spending to date. Additionally, we also discussed how to increase utilization of services for underserved populations, volunteerism, wellness, and what emerging trends there are in the senior arena. So I think Commissioner Smith, who serves on that as well, I think it was very well done, and I think we gained quite a bit from it moving forward in terms of what areas for seniors we need to address. Also, too, the Calhoun County Solid Waste Advisory Committee met August 25th. We heard a report on the CNC landfill recycling program from January to July of this year. 3,287 loads of recycling have been delivered, and 381 passes had been distributed. We also heard an update, unfortunately, on the Marshall Recycling Center. Currently, no staff has yet be hired because nobody's applied at this point in time. Hopefully, we're hoping to repost the position once the unemployment issue runs out, with hopefully reopen date set in October. So hopefully we can do that. I know I've had a lot of folks that have asked about the Marshall Recycling Center, so people are looking very excited about when that gets back open. And then finally, the Calhoun County Broadband Task Force met September 1st. Michael Reen of Aspen Wireless was on hand to talk about the upcoming feasibility study, including the cost methodology, project goals, deliverables, and cost-benefit analysis. Depending on the timing of the completion of the feasibility study, now granted this is very rough timing, Calhoun County could be what they say to be shovel-ready by spring of 2022, and that's important.
I just want to know what shovel-ready means.
Shovel-ready, just meaning we're with the survey's been done, the feasibility study's been going, we're ready to go when, as far as the process, we talk about grants, especially from the federal and state levels, that's where we need to be. So when shovel-ready, that's kind of the conception of that. So. And that's my report for this evening. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anybody else? Just have two updates. The 911 director was hired, Michael Armitage, who comes to us from Eaton County, who was their director. He also worked at MSP in the 800 megahertz section, radio section, for a while, so he has a good background in the technology side, which we need. And then our Parks group met today, and we discussed many things about the process of how to use the millage funds, and coming up with those, and should be presented to the Commission for final approval in October is our goal. Also, we started construction in Albion at the Albion Park, which is at M99 and Condit Road. So if you go over there, you'll see that activity getting going. And then I have a map that I'll send down the line here. I've talked for years about safety and people knowing what's going on the river and anticipated travel times. These are maps that are going to go up at every location where you can enter the river, and it'll talk about estimated travel times based on where you want to go. It's going to have a legend of available things like restrooms and things like that along the route. And some safety reminders. So a lot of people get in the river for the first time and don't necessarily have a good grasp of how long it's going to take to go where they really want to go. We also talked about potentially some lighting on these signs so that people can recognize where to get out after. It's one of the dangerous things that happens on the river is people get trapped on there because they didn't understand the length after the sun goes down. So we'll keep working on that project, and Doug's doing a great job, so we look forward to having something to finalize here at the commission level in October. Budget committee, we meet again, I believe, in 2 weeks, something like that? 22nd? Yeah, all right. So still working out the kinks of that and all the things behind the background. So Megan was over there wondering how we're going to make the budget, but we'll make it. So, anybody else?
The reason we make the budget.
She is outstanding. So, her and Gerald both, and others in that department. All right. Since there's nobody else, I'm going to turn it over to Assistant County Administrator Brad Wilcox, who's filling in tonight.
Thank you, Chair. Consent agenda.
I thought we passed we passed it. Yep.
We're past the special committee workshop.
I know I screw up occasionally, Jim, but
Thanks.
so I'm going to turn it over to Brad, and he's going
We're
to
off to a rough
capably
start.
fill in tonight. So we appreciate you.
So, Chair, we have two items for your consideration this evening, and the first one is the Health Department's approval of their budget. I'd like to invite Bridget Rickenbaugh, the Deputy Health Officer, and Megan Banning, Deputy Controller, to the podium to help present. While they do that, I'll just give you some background in terms of the process. Although this is on a different fiscal calendar, as we all know, the Health Department budget goes through the same rigorous process as our county development of our county general fund budget. Kelly is very involved in the Health Department budget. She works with the boards, the leadership of the Health Department, just as she does with our departments throughout our budget process. Megan Banning does her usual really thorough and good job of managing and navigating through the development of a budget. So she spends time with the Health Department warming up for our budget, which we're in the middle of right now. So Megan will speak to some of the details of the budget. The Health Board appoints a budget subcommittee, just as we have a board subcommittee who assists and gives guidance to and approvals along the way of different budget development ideas. And then the Health Department board approves the final recommended budget. So the final step here today, that is the approval of our board. And just so that you know, there's the same tools, a lot of the same, again, rigorous standards, position control budgeting is used. So it's very similar to our process. And Megan, do you want to open up it in terms of an overview?
Yeah, so as Brad mentioned, it basically goes through the same process that the county budget goes through. They're just on a different fiscal year than we are, so we have to start it earlier, and obviously it gets adopted earlier. So their fiscal year starts October 1. So this budget is for the fiscal year 22 Health Department. It totals just over $8.8 million in expenditures, and it's about a 5.5% increase over the prior year budget. Some of the items that kind of have been factored into this budget are salary increases at 2.75% for county non-union, and then whatever negotiated contract increases are for like the T-Home Health members and union members. It includes an 8% projected increase in health insurance claims for the employee portion of health coverage, 5% increase in dental claims, and 3% in vision claims. And that's built into the county budget process at the beginning as well. Those will be modified as we move through the county process, and any savings that we might be able to recoup will then be like factored into the Health Department budget amendments as we present them throughout the year. Other than that, it's just basically a continuation budget. FTEs for the staffing at the Health Department, the net change for fiscal year 22 is only 0.6. So there's a significant decrease in some of our COVID positions, and then a presentation of about 3 positions to help the Health Department in their endeavors towards community health improvement. So there were a lot of bad things that came through COVID, right? It basically sucked, you know, to put it bluntly, but there was a good thing. So the Health Department realized that there are some huge disparities in the community as it comes to health care throughout Battle Creek and Calhoun County. And so the goals next year are to address those disparities that have been brought to the forefront of the public health within the community. Basically using the COVID grants and just a little bit of fund balance in order to address those disparities and to set the Health Department up to keep addressing those disparities throughout the next or the following years. So other than that, if you guys have questions, the projected use of fund balance for next year is $102,000. At the end of 2022, the total fund balance is well over $2 million at the Health Department. So if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them after a motion.
Do you want to add anything, Bridget?
No.
Okay. Let's get a motion on the floor then. Can I have a motion to approve the Calhoun County Health Department fiscal year 22 budget as presented?
So move.
Support.
Have a motion support. Is there any discussion?
If I could, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
First of all, let me say I looked through the Health Department budget, being a numbers guy that I am, and first of all, it was very well put together. Great job on everybody's part for putting that together. I know budgets can be interesting, certainly. Just a quick question maybe for Bridget, if you don't mind. What do you find right now is the biggest challenge in terms of, as you have preparation for this budget, maybe challenges within the Health Department? What do you think the biggest challenge is?
I think for us, it's, of course, COVID and getting through that and staffing, which we too are finding difficulty in finding, especially nursing staff. to assist us. But as far as the budget, I think some of the positives that really came out of COVID were those increasing community partnerships that we, maybe hadn't formed previously. And a lot of the trying to reach those underserved populations and how are we going to do that better. We've, increased our outreach and so on, but in part of our budget, some of our positions are an outreach advocate and health educator to, hopefully increase those partnerships and get into those communities that not only for COVID vaccines, but for services as well.
Sure. Thank you very much.
So,
Appreciate
you're
that.
welcome.
Great job, everybody.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All right, open the vote. Go ahead and vote electronically.
Sorry,
It's all right.
the youngster had to help me.
The motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
So the next item on the agenda is the signs and posts bid number 118-21 recommendation. This bid provides signs and posts for the road department. We've been doing this every 2 years. Seems like several times we've done this, so no new changes. Just updating requirements and sending out an RFP. We're recommending Dornbos Signs. They're lowest bidder and most responsible. They're out of Charlotte, Michigan. They've been the contractor for several years and done a good job for the road department. We're recommending a 2-year contract, the amount estimated at $56,000 per year. The only troubling sign, again, I keep reporting is that this represents a 12% increase over the previous contract, and we need to continue to evaluate strategies where we can kind of come to a new normal where we're not seeing these double-digit increases and bring our costs down. So we have some ideas about how to work that, and we'll continue to provide information to the board.
Awesome. Can I have a motion to approve the Calhoun County Road Department Contract Award sign and post bid number 118-21 with Dornbos Sign Incorporated as presented?
So move, Betty.
Have a motion support. Is there any discussion?
Just a point of clarification, Mr. Chair, if I
Yes,
could,
sir.
please. Just as a clarification, we no longer have a sign department within the road department at this point in time? Is that a correct statement?
No, we do most of our signs, in fact. So some of this bid may be blanks that allow them to apply images. Some are maybe fairly unique and
Okay.
few, that they can order pre-made, but we do have an active and a sign shop that's very effective.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, the vote is open. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item is citizens' time. Same rules apply as during the first citizens' time. Please limit your time to 3 minutes and no negative personal comments. Is there anyone that would like to address the commissioners? You sure? I'll be quiet. You're our last hope. Yeah. All right. All right, we'll move on. Thanks, Dick. Commissioner time. Any commissioners with comments tonight? Vice Chair.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Sorry, just on a roll this evening. First of all, again, in cooperation with our moment of silence, certainly I think all of us would take that moment to express our sincerest condolences, prayers, and thoughts to those 13 service members who gave their lives this past week to keep us safe. I think it's been on a lot of our minds and a lot of our hearts going forward. Certainly, we also have 18 others right now that are struggling in Germany right now in the hospital, so we certainly continue to pray for them as well. And then also, as we're thinking about this, I think we all should take that time to pause to remember 9/11, which will be forthcoming on this 20th anniversary of that very fateful day when we think about where we were, what our feelings were. I know I certainly do remember that, and I think most of us do that very vividly. So certainly I think it's important for us to never forget that and continue to keep the focus. So again, thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate that.
And there's several opportunities to go out and participate in ceremonies recognizing that. I know there's one in, I think it's McCamley Park in Battle Creek at 6 p.m. on that day.
That is correct. No, it's actually interesting enough. There's also one in Homer. There actually will be one in Homer that
Nice.
the Presbyterian Church also put together. So
Cool.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else? All right. We'll move on to claims payable. Can I have a motion to approve the Calhoun County claims payable for August 13th, 2021 through August 25th, 2021 in the amount of $4,608,821.19 as presented. That's $4,608,021.19 as presented.
Are you sure?
I believe so. I tried to say it backwards to start with. Have a motion support. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Any announcements?
Chair? I would actually like to take this time to announce the birthday of Brad.
That's pretty cool.
Tomorrow will be his birthday, and we hope that you enjoy the weekend and that you have a great birthday and many, many more. You're welcome.
Happy birthday, Brad.
We got that red tie tonight, which we love, like that bread.
Commissioner Tompkins.
And also, too, I think we also need to recognize the fact that Commissioner Miller just had a birthday recently as well, so happy birthday to Mr. Commissioner Miller as well, certainly. And with respect to announcements, the annual Bids and Stuff auction is back this year for the Kids and Stuff Museum in Albion. This annual benefit supports programming, exhibits, and operations for the museum. It will be, ironically, September 11th from 6 to 9 outside at Stoford Plaza, a little different. Tickets are on sale at kidsandstuff.org, and it's a great opportunity certainly to support this great children's museum, and certainly I know many, many children in the area, including mine, has utilized it, and it's a great resource having in the community. So thank you very much.
Commissioner Miller.
I actually got a voicemail I want everybody to listen to. I got today from a constituent.
Hi, this is Kay Warner, and I've called the road commission probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, asking them to look at our road and perhaps getting some gravel on it, and haven't got a response from them. I just called today and talked to the answering machine and said he wouldn't be back until the 13th, I think it was, of September. And I wondered if this would be part of your job description to maybe look at our road. And 2 or 3 weeks, well, maybe longer than that, they came in and they graded and widened several of the dirt roads, gravel roads. And they left, not stones, rocks in the road that have came up and hit the bottom of your car. And I'm 79 years old, and on my golf cart, I have picked up a lot of rocks, taken them off this road, and there are still more rocks to be picked up, but I have picked up a lot. Also, branches that got knocked down with that widening of the road that they just left. And we moved out here about 26 years ago, and at that time they came out and put in 1 inch of gravel, and since then we've had very, very, very minimal maintenance. Is there anything, this guy's not going to call me back until he gets back from vacation, but I didn't get any reaction from the first time I called 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I wondered if there's anything that you could do to help us. I live on R Drive South. It's the stretch between 17 Mile Road and Old 27. And my address is 16695 R Drive South. My phone number is 269-579-3285 or 517-767-4775. Hope that you could do something to help us. Thank you.
Now, to me, that's very disturbing. Every single week, I'm getting phone calls like this from somebody, and this lady's 79 years old, has been calling for 3 weeks, can't return phone call, and she gets, I'll be back on the 13th, almost 2 more weeks. Mm-hmm. It's not acceptable for me, and I hope it's not acceptable for anybody else that's sitting up here. So I got to. I mean, one way or the other, we should really make a phone call back. I mean, a lot of times I get phone calls from constituents, hey, I've called for the last 3 months, I can't get anybody to even call me back. A lot of times I can maybe not give them what they want to hear, but I can answer their questions. And just a simple call back, that's our job. And why does it have to get to the level where we're at to get involved on a weekly basis?
Yes.
And I just want to say, Commissioner, no, I could not really hear, if you could just, maybe because you've heard it, if you could just clear what she was saying.
Well, what it boils down to is the lady's 79 years old. She called for some issues with the road over 3 weeks ago. No return phone call. She calls again today, gets a voicemail that whoever she talked to, the voicemail won't be back till the 13th of September. To me, that's not acceptable.
So that doesn't sound like that's the main number for, that sounds like that's somebody.
No, somebody transferred her to Corey, and Corey's on
Yeah,
vacation.
Corey's on
And
vacation.
it could be that she went through the directory or something like that and did it. Regardless, did you-
Somebody should be there to, or at
did you
least
put
call
a
her back.
service request in for her?
I just got this.
Yeah.
I got the phone call
I
after
can put
work.
a service request in for her right now, if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, just a big thing is just to give her a phone call back and explain to her, hey, this is what's going on, or something.
Yep. So maybe we need to look at how easy it is to navigate our phone tree at the road department. And, you know, Brad, maybe you could look at that. And,
Commissioner Miller, will you be giving her a call back? I mean,
Yes, I called her back after.
Okay.
Yeah, I called her back right before the meeting.
thank you. All right, anything else?